Hello, I am Jody Wolf. You're watching Expoz April 24, 2015, 12:57 a.m. Birmingham. Topic: crescent-shaped warm water. And this water, I did a blog on it. I didn't do it fully, and so I kind of want to finish it. I did that last week, and what I'm doing here is it's a crescent-shaped warm water, and it's not moving, and it's at the western side of Baja California, and it makes a wide, starting out west and then back to the north, a crescent type shape. But what it's doing is kind of butted up against Baja California on the western coast, and it's reaching around to the Bering Sea, the Bering Strait. It's entered the sea, which the sea is on the southern side of the strait, but it's also beyond the strait into the Chechenian Sea, which is there in Siberia, that part of northern Russia, or either southern Russia. I would call it northern because it's so cold. But in any case, that warm water, there's something there. Something's happening. Something strange. It has created the biggest storms. For example, I haven't watched them in a while, but these ships, these boats that go out and go crab fishing, and catch crab as big as you know what, but they've been catching hell. They've been catching huge abnormal storms, to the point of where it's I believe they've had to evacuate at least 2 of the ships during the crabbing season because of the storms. And then some of the ships, they just can't go out. They're relentless. The storms are continue to come. And the only way to explain that is the mixing of cold air and warm water. Some people are beginning to think, and I don't know, but I'm going to tell you what they're thinking. So my thinking doesn't come into play here. I'm just wondering personally. Somebody said that they thought that soon that this cold water is it's going to start pulling out some more this time of the year, and it'll start heading toward California and the Baja. And then, of course, you have Washington and Oregon prior to California. If that happens, that could not only bring and fill all of California's reservoirs, but could also create major problems for California and Oregon and for Washington. You've seen the landslides, the mudslides in Washington, and then parts of northeastern Oregon already. Maybe it does happen to Washington, around Mount Rainier a time or two, but if this gets into California, you'll see mudslides, and you'll see a lot of them. I've been to California numerous times, but the first time I went was in the early 80s. I went there. I had a Gulf Oil, the old Gulf Oil service station in Mountain Brook, Alabama. This is the tiny kingdom of Alabama. And I was on the police department in Mountain Brook, Alabama. And Mountain Brook, Alabama is the city that gets a backup to a barking dog call. That's how busy Mountain Brook was. And at the same time, I had this store, this service station, and I won a trip. So we went to California. And when I drove after the trip was over, I chose to stay 2 days. So we had someone to drive us from the part of California that we were in. It was, we ended up being down near Pebble Beach, but we drove to San Francisco. And we did a sightseeing type tour while we were there. But the whole time we were there, and this is in April, it rained. But we did cross the Golden Gate Bridge. Now, when you cross from the San Francisco side, the Golden Gate, is that Salinas? Some whatever part of California that is named, I don't recall, but we watched a landslide. We watched a giant home on a hill, and it was facing west, and it slid down that mountain, and it slid down into the shops lining the bays. In fact, where all the seals are a nuisance today by just laying around on the boats and sinking all these boats. But this is the very spot because we saw the seals at that time. But this huge mountain brought these giant homes. You know, it tore them to tiny pieces, but they came down the hill and they crashed through the backs of these stores where the fronts were on the bay, and we watched the stores, everything in it, empty out into the water. Picture that. That's a tiny bit. Picture that on a grand scale. That would devastate California. That would devastate California, and for a very long time. So if this crescent-shaped warm water bridge type thing creates the same weather in the near future around Washington and, of course, Canada, all the way down to the Baja California, I'm just going to have to start praying for those folks in advance, really, because it could be a really bad thing. Jody Wolf, Expoz.